Hey everyone, it's Rob Cosman from jonescosman.com, your e-commerce CPAs. And in this video I want to talk about something that's coming up, and that's GST and HST audits. It's that time of the year and I want to go over what they're going to ask, how to prepare, and how to handle it. Let's go. Hey, what's up guys? In this video I want to talk about the GST and HST audits that we're already starting to see for this year. So a lot of you, if you're an Amazon seller, Amazon.ca, Shopify owner, any other e-commerce or small business, and you're on an annual filing basis for your GST and HST, they're coming out now. It's already, middle end of May here right now, and we're seeing clients already getting selected for audits and reviews. And it doesn't, sorry, HST reviews as they call it, not an audit. But regardless, they're already coming, and it doesn't matter if you've got a small refund or a large refund. They seem to be targeting. If you're in a pay, it's usually pretty good. But if you've actually in a refund, they seem to be asking a lot of questions. So I'm just going to go through a few tips and tricks along the way, kind of how it goes. If you understand where they're coming from and what they're trying to do, then you can kind of be a little bit proactive and stick handle and manage the review right from the start, instead of being on the defensive, if you know what's going to happen. So, first of all, they're not your friends, but they're not your enemies. You're going to get a call. Usually you get a call from an agent at first, usually a junior person. And, once they're calling, there's pretty much no turning back. You can't really convince them that, things are going to go away. They've already decided that your account's going to be under review. So just deal with it and try to manage it right from the start. The person you're going to talk to at first is going to be a junior person, and chances are they're not going to be the one conducting the review. They're going to ask you some high-level questions, and then at the end of it, they'll send you a letter and tell you that it's under review and the type of info that they're going to need. And then they'll pass it off to someone that's a little bit more senior. So right at the start, try to manage it and make sure that they understand your business, and that they understand what you're doing. But try to keep things simple from the start. Okay, let's talk about how to deal with the review. So first thing they're going to ask you, they're going to pretend you're your friend. They're going to say, okay, what does your business do? That's going to be kind of the first general. Explain to me what it is. Keep it simple. I always just say basically, well, they buy stuff in stores. I mean, depending on what the business is, but a lot of clients, Amazon clients, let's say, just buy retail arbitrage or online arbitrage. I just say, look, these guys go into, a Walmart store and they buy stuff on clearance and then turn around and sell it online, Amazon.ca, Amazon.com, eBay, wherever. And that's what you do. Keep it simple. Now, I notice a lot of the people that you're first talking to are junior guys or girls, and they actually, they're faking that they're interested. Some of them I think are genuinely interested, because they hear Amazon and they're working a terrible job at CRA, so they will start asking you some questions and sound like they're genuinely interested. But remember, whatever you tell them or say to them, they can use against you or dig a little bit more. So, you can be friendly and jovial, but, try to manage it and try not to disclose too much. What they're after is they want to make sure that you're reporting things correctly. The government hates to give out money. They love to take it and hold on to it, but they don't like to give the refunds. So when you file it and you're asking for a refund because you've been selling a lot of stuff on .com and you've been buying this stuff in Canada, then they don't like that. So they kind of assume that you're a dummy and you messed something up, or they just want to double check it. So this is where it starts. Now, if you're late on your filing, they're going to charge you penalties and interest, and if you're late in a refund, they won't pay you the interest. So, try to get it taken care of as quickly as you can, because the longer this audit drags on and the review, the longer they hold on to your money, and you're not going to get that money to use to buy more stuff, and they're not going to pay you interest. Okay, so right from the start, you want to make sure that you're organized, and that when you're talking to them, you want to keep it simple. Don't divulge too much, but divulge the basic stuff that they do ask for. So I always say, look, if you go to the store and you buy stuff, sell it on Amazon, that's what you do. I like to use the Walmart. Everybody's got a Walmart and they understand the clearance section, and that's kind of what I say. Because if you start saying I buy stuff on Walmart that's hard to find and other people can't, no, no. I walk into Walmart, I buy stuff on clearance, I turn it around. If you buy wholesale, hey, I do that. I have a couple wholesale accounts and I buy products and I sell it into the States or I sell it on Canada, whichever it is. You buy books, I buy books in thrift stores or wherever, and then I sell them online. Keep it simple. Now, they might ask you some weird things about different provinces. I did have one questioning me about the area code of the cell phone of the client because it was an Ontario cell phone, but the client was actually in BC, and I could tell he was trying to probe to see where the business really operates. And I just said, oh, he travels and visiting his girlfriend, and just worldwide call, national calling. It's not a big deal. He just has his cell phone and he travels around and, goes to various Walmarts. Who cares? Just try to keep it simple, answer their questions, but don't, you know, not too in depth with the chit chat because, again, you might say something, you might slip up and, oh, I've been living here and I used to live there or whatever. That just raises more questions. Oh, which province really should you have filed from during your tax season? Should you have done a half in this one? Just try to keep it simple but answer the questions and still be nice. Okay? Don't fall for the Columbo techniques, as I call it, when they're like, okay, so, but your cell phone is in Ontario, but, the address is in BC, so what's that about? Just, they might play dumb or act like they're your friends, but just be careful, keep your guard up a little, and don't get too comfortable with them, okay? Now, what do they want? First thing they're going to ask you is, they'll ask you a few questions about the business, what exactly it does. Then they're going to say, okay, we're going to select you for a review. I'm going to send you a letter with some info, what our requests are. And they're pretty much always about the same. But this is an opportunity where you can get ahead of them and kind of cut down on some of your work. What they want to do is they want to see all your sales. They'll say, good, give me all your sales, like just a list. You want to do everything in Excel because it's easy. They'll say, give me all your sales, everything that you sold, a list of that. And they'll say, give me a list of everything you're claiming an ITC for or expenses you paid HST on. Put that together. Then I want to see, and they'll ask for a selection of the largest invoices or the largest receipts. Now, if you're an Amazon seller, you probably have hundreds, if not thousands, of sales. So this is where I try to stick handle it a bit, because to go down and download every single one of your transactions, all your orders, I say, look, client sells hundreds, if not thousands, whichever the client actually does, depending on the volume. I said, they'll do all kinds of these. They get a settlement every 2 weeks. Can we, maybe I just give you monthly summaries and then you pick some samples out of those. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't, because it depends on how large the client is. And, if they're doing 100,000, if they're doing 1 million or 2 million, then, they might go for it. Usually the larger ones will say, okay, fine, show us like your busiest month, give us monthly totals, and then let's pick a sample out of the largest month. So if your largest month is December, give me all the listing for all the orders just to December, but give me all the summaries, for all the other months. And just make sure that all the numbers you provide always total back to what you actually filed. So if you give them summaries of every month, make sure that all those summaries total to the total sales that you actually reported, whether you reported it in Canadian dollars or it was US converted into Canadian. Just make sure that the math ties, make it easy on them. Okay. When you actually get it, that's when you can kind of get out ahead and reduce some of the orders. The expenses you're not really going to get away from. They're going to want to see a list of every single expense you have. So hopefully you've got good bookkeeping and you just dump that out, put it in Excel, or if you've already got it in Excel, here it is. Here's my purchase, January 5th, Walmart.ca, and it was for $500, and the HST associated with that is X. And then that total will match whatever you actually provided and filled out when you did the HST return. So, starting with the sales, they'll send you a request. I usually just ask them to fax it because I don't want to wait in the mail. If they're already started this, I want to get rolling on it as quickly as I can to get out in front of it, get it done, get it approved, and get cash back in the bank account. So I say fax it to me. If you don't have a fax number, you can get a virtual fax number. Usually we have one, I think it's like $10 a month. You probably get some free trials or something. Just go and try to sign one up. Usually these guys all have direct lines, whoever your contact is, so you can always call them back and say, okay, I'll get you a fax number in 10 minutes. Can I call you back? Or you can wait for it to actually come in the mail. I just like to speed the process up. First question they're going to ask you is the bookkeeping and record keeping. What do you do? What software do you use? So if you use QuickBooks, if you use Wave, if you use Excel, all reasonable answers, good answers. If you just have random scratching on a pad of paper, I wouldn't tell them that. At a minimum, I would say that, you know what, you keep everything in Excel nice and neat. Okay. They'll want a detailed explanation of your business and what sales are taxable and what are non-taxable. Same thing you probably told them over the phone. You walk into Walmart and you buy stuff on clearance and sell it online. I usually just say that. I buy stuff retail arbitrage. I don't call it retail arbitrage. I just say client goes into retail stores, buys stuff or purchases stuff online and sells it on Amazon.ca and Amazon.com. And then you say that the Amazon.com are non-taxable because they're exports. Hopefully you broke that out when you actually submitted your GST and HST return so that they can see that and match it in. They want to see all your sales, so you cut that down. So if you've hopefully negotiated it down to some monthly summaries and maybe just 1 month, download all your orders out of Amazon for that month that they've selected and put them in. Then what they're going to want to see is, okay, give us your largest 10, usually is what it is. So you just put a filter on and sort your Excel and figure out, okay, what's my largest 10 invoices, and then print off the invoice from Amazon. Just go back into your order, look it up, print it off, and then you've got the 10 largest ones to give to them. What they want to make sure that on that you're actually sending it either to the States and not charging the tax, or they were orders that were going to Canada, and depending on the province you collected the right GST or HST. Now, the larger part that they want is all the ITCs and the expenses that you claimed GST and HST on. So they'll want to see a list of every purchase that you made that you claimed GST and HST. Now, if you didn't claim the HST on it, it was, like tactical arbitrage, let's say. They don't charge sales tax, so just remove that from the listing. Don't give them noise. Don't give them other things to question. Only give them the stuff you're actually claiming GST or HST as a refund on. So then you put together a nice big long Excel list. You've got all the amounts totaled, and that total, make sure that matches what you actually reported. Then what they'll want is a couple different things. Sometimes they'll look at, give us 10 of the largest invoices, and each one has to be from a different supplier. So basically they're looking for 10 different suppliers and the largest invoice from each one. So again, you can filter in Excel, do it dollars, largest to smallest, and pick it there. Sometimes they'll say, okay, you know what, just give us the 10 largest. Maybe you only buy from 2 or 3 vendors. So they'll say, fine, just give us the 10 largest invoices. And then you've got either, go get a photocopy or print out a PDF, whatever. Never send these guys in any originals. Make copies because these guys lose stuff. What you'll want to do is make a copy, make a PDF. That's what I always do, is I just combine it all into one nice PDF. And I always recommend to submit it, upload it to your My Business account. If you don't have a My Business account for your GST and HST number on the CRA website, go sign up for it now. Makes life easier. They'll send you email notices and things like that, and you can upload the documents versus faxing them versus mailing them. It just makes life a little bit easier, and you get confirmation codes that you've uploaded stuff. So make sure, final things, keep it simple, answer their questions, make sure that the numbers and the totals you give them back tie, and you have copies and support for the receipts for each of those amounts, and make a good copy. PDF it, upload it, and expect that, it's still going to take a couple weeks for them to review. Usually I like to call them and kind of push them along and, hey, did you get it? Is there any questions? Found everything great, tied. They might have questions, they might not, but at least, you're kind of pushing them along. Again, if you're organized and you give them all the info that they ask for and you do it all once and you do it in a nice, quick, timely manner, they're usually happy. I mean, they're just trying to check the box and move on to the next one. So if you can be proactive and organized and give it to them in a decent fashion, it'll make your life easier. Hopefully you'll get your money back quicker. And, usually if you've gone through one, you'll probably be good for another few times, hopefully. Now that they've done some work, identified your business, realized that, what really you're doing, and then yes, you should be in a refund, and they've already sniffed around and checked it, then chances are you'll be good for a while, unless something materially changes in your business, and you're always in a refund, and now you're in a payment or something like that. But anyhow, hopefully these tips will help you in your GST HST audit. Don't worry if you do get a call; it's not that big of a deal. Just take a breath. Now, hopefully, you realize kind of what they're going to go through and what they'll ask, and make it a little easier. Best of luck. Thanks.